What's up, guys? My name is Sean Phillips, and this is my intro video for EDL 851, Supervision and Evaluation of School Personnel. First, I'll give you a little background information about myself. I teach at Tonganoxie High School in Tonganoxie, Kansas. And there I'm married, and I have two boys. One is 16 and one is 13, a junior and an eighth grader. I've been here for 10 years, but overall I've taught for 18 years. I spent some other time at Royal Valley Middle School, just north of Topeka, and also at Turner High School in Kansas City. Why do I want to be a principal? Well, ever since I can remember, I've enjoyed being part of a team. And for me, a principal is someone that is, an ultimate leader of a big team. In my time on teams, I've always tried to strive to be a leader, whether it be from a high school sports team to being a coach here at high school. I've coached multiple sports at various levels for over 20 years. And, that could be as simple as an assistant B-team volleyball coach in middle school all the way up to the head varsity boys basketball coach here in Tonganoxie. So, being a part of teams has always been important to me. And the reason why is because I really enjoy watching other people succeed. That's one of my favorite things as a coach and a teacher, is seeing when kids reach their goals or do something they didn't think that they could do. So as a principal, I feel like I can maybe interact with more people, not just students but teachers as well, and hopefully be a factor in helping them succeed at whatever they're striving to do. And also, I want to be a principal just from a timing standpoint. As I mentioned earlier, I have a son that's a junior, and although coaching is a way that I fulfilled my leadership desire, I've always had in the back of mind that I'd want to be a principal. And my son that's a junior is getting close to going to college, and I figure if I don't get that done now, once those college bills start rolling in, I'm probably never going to get to it. And I don't want to be in a situation where I don't get to reach that goal of mine. So it's time for me to do that. I've taken two other courses towards my administrative license, and this will be my third. My experience with supervision. Well, as I mentioned, I've coached a lot, and probably the biggest part of supervision would involve being the head boys basketball coach. I did that for 8 years, and during that time, I spent a ton of time scheduling things, evaluating coaches, evaluating players, working with budget within my department, providing discipline for players, dealing with parents in both positive and negative situations. I've had to interview assistant coaches and try to figure out a hiring practice there. So I feel like that's a decent amount of supervisory things just from coaching. In addition to that, I also help supervise some extracurricular activities. I supervise our gyms on some game nights. I'm currently not coaching basketball anymore because my oldest son decided he didn't want to play any, so I gave up my passion of coaching just so I could be a dad. I can still be there for game nights where I supervise a gym, and I deal with getting officials in the right place. I deal with any issues in the stands, whether it be parents or kids or what have you. Dealing with the staff that help run the game, just trying to make sure that things flow smoothly on our game nights. Another supervision duty that I have is working driver's ed. Our school does still have driver's ed, and I'm a driver's ed teacher here during the summertime. And the driver's ed program is really left up to the teachers. So there isn't a ton of supervision from administration there. However, the teachers, such as myself, we do a lot of supervision of students. When they're behind the wheel of that car, you better be supervising pretty close because there are some students that need to be watched very closely so that they can remain safe. Driver's ed also involves scheduling, dealing with the budget related to driver's ed. It's kind of used as its own separate entity, so I kind of supervise that program. While teaching here in Tonganoxie, for a while we had a program called a senior mentor program where I coordinated that, and I helped to supervise students. And in the mentor program, students had some free reign to create some different programs that they felt would help integrate freshmen into the high school and get them paired up with seniors or put within activities with seniors, just to kind of bridge the gap between the upper class and the lower class. And my job there was to help them put together programs that would be beneficial, also that were safe, and kind of help them get feedback on what we could do better moving forward as we continue to plan. My own personal experience with evaluation has changed a lot over 18 years. When I very first started, I remember my evaluation system was basically just a list of indicators of things that were expected for teachers to be able to do. And then based on that indicator, you would get checked off as either a master of it, developing in that, or needs improvement. And basically your principal would come in and observe you one time, one lesson. Occasionally they would schedule it with you, or maybe they would come in a second time unannounced, and then you would have a conference. As a new teacher, it was twice a year that we would go through that, but after you get some experience, and at that time when you had tenure, then it would go down to just once a year. But basically you just met with the principal, and he would tell you, hey, I think you're here on this indicator, you're in this spot on the other, and you would try to do better on those indicators. Later on at other schools, another evaluation tool that I had worked with was called 10-minute walkthroughs. A principal would come in for just 10 minutes, see what's going on in class, and then they would just leave you a little note about things that were good, maybe something to think about, something along those lines, just to give you a little bit of feedback there over just a short evaluation type of thing. And they would do that a few different times a year. A more recent type of evaluation involves developing personal goals. Right now we use the McCrell evaluation system, and you have to do your own individual assessment, and then from that create your own goals that you want to work towards for that year. And then during that year, it is my responsibility as a teacher to try to advance in achieving those goals. And typically, our principal will come in one time during the year and observe me teach in a class period. He always just ask me, hey, when will work? And I just schedule a time, and he comes in, he'll watch that, and then I just send him a few times throughout the year some updates on some things that I've done, and then at the end of the year we have a conference, and I get checked off as being evaluated for the year. Other evaluation, I've been evaluated as a coach numerous times, although it can be a little bit spotty as a coach. Sometimes it seems like some of the athletic directors get a little bit busy, and there have been times I've had sit-down formal ones. There's other times, don't worry about it, you didn't do anything wrong type of deal. So, but overall from those things, I've never really had an administrator say, hey, why don't you consider going this direction? It's always been more self-driven, so that's something that maybe I wouldn't mind a little bit of feedback on. Hey, why don't you kind of look in this area a little bit more? So I'm hoping through the course of this program that I can come up with a good way to supervise and evaluate. That way that, as an administrator, I want to be able to help teachers grow. Because if teachers grow, that's good for them, and it's also good for students. And it's going to create a positive learning environment where students and teachers can be successful. So hopefully we get that through the course of this, and I look forward to working with everybody. I will talk to everyone soon.